Tak, všechno zelený. Tak by se mělo jít úplně v klidu. Kontrolujeme. Dokonce dneska je Twitch hodný a dokonce to scale downuje výborně. Nazdar, Kiraro. Čau, čau. Já ještě kontroluju, že všude zvuk šlape tak, jak má. Protože jsem si tady zase hrál trošku s routováním zvuku. Kvůli těm alertům, jak nebyly slyšet. Tak snad už to bude všechno v pohodě. Ale pokračujeme tam, kde jsme vlastně posledně skončili. Čili po lockdown vysílání. A máme tady den 154. Rude Awakening. Rytmické pípání monitoru srdce tě přivede zpátky k vědomí. Otevřeš oči a seš přivítán polokruhem. Teď mi zase vypadlo to slovíčko, co jsem chtěl použít. Concerned obličejů. Tvoje rodina po tvém boku. Reassuring familiar sight in these news. Povědomý, uklidňující a povědomý pohled v tomhletom novém okolí. Párkrát mrkneš, abys se ti rozlepily oči. Cítíš na sobě ruku. Jemnou, ale uklidňující. Jsem s tebou jako vždy. Some more affection than ever. Její výraz víc ustaraný, ale víc náklonný než kdykoliv předtím. Věděli jsme, že budeš v pořádku. Nikdy jsme nepochybovali jsme o tom ani vteřinu. A pokud ještě někdy uvidím Bouzmana, stiskneš jí ruku a pokusí se mrknout. Vrásky stresu pomizí nás samině čele. Bůh ví, že toho máte až nad hlavu, i když se nemusíte starat i bez toho, aniž by se do toho míchalo zdraví. S posledním úsměvem se podíváš na zbytek svojí rodiny. Jak si všimneš absence Suzy, všimneš si, jak se Charlie sebou neklidně vrtí a vypadá ustaraně. Jakmile se na ní podíváš, tak se přestane strachovat. Už jsi definitivně v pohodě, že jo? Zeptá se nakonec. Samozřejmě nic mi není. Charlie se na to podívá a zakředí se. Jeden z těch nakažlivějších úsměvů v celé místnosti. Je vždycky dobrý ho mít po svém boku. Tvůj úsměv zmizí, jakmile si všimneš svojí matky, která zírá z okna. I přesto, že jste se hodně snažili, tak jí poslední dobou nebylo dobře. Jsi v pohodě, mami? Tvoje matka vypadá... je viditelně v šoku, když na ní promluvíš. Smiles and you're grateful to see increasing recognition in her eyes. Podívá se na tebe a usměje se a vidíš v jejich očích to více vzácnější poznání. Ano, drahý, samozřejmě. Jak se cítíš ty? Vřele se usměješ a kývneš. Předtím, než můžeš odpovědět, doktor vrazí do místnosti a všechny vyhodí. Poté se tě asi posté zeptá, jak se cítíš. Pak si asi 100krát zeptá, jak se cítíš. Překvapivě dobře, když vezmu všechno v potaz. Výborně. Nejsou žádné známky nějakého velkého poškození. Jenom trochu šoku. Omluvte mi za ten vtípek. Usměje se. Ne, že bychom doporučovali něco takového opakovat, samozřejmě. Po pár dnech odpočinku byste měl být zase úplně v pohodě. Vydá se na odchod, ale zastaví se ve dveřích. A soukromý pokoj a péče. Doktorka naznačí na místnost, která vypadá docela draze. Byla celá zaplacena panem Bowsmanem. Nechal tady tyhle květiny a řekl, že se nemáte o nic starat a vzít si týden volno. Uvidí vás pondělí. Aspoň to nejmenší, co mohl udělat. To nejmenší, co mohl udělat. Den 180 přítěž. Přijdeš domů po velmi dlouhé šichtě v práci a v kuchyni se ještě svítí. To nikdy nebývá dobré znamení. Všichni tohletou dobou už spí. Opatrně otevřeš dveře do kuchyně a najdeš sem u stolu. Účty. Chadwick Boseman, já víte, že je to dobrák. Účty a další složenky před sebou. Stejně tak jako druhé balení sušenek. Dá ti rychlou pusu, než se posadíš vedle ní. Sem se zamračí a vrátí se ke čtení účtu, který drží v ruce. Ahoj zlato, jenom se zase koukám na čísla. Koukne na dveře do spíže, která je nyní předělána do pokoje pro tvou matku. Dělali jsme, co jsme mohli. Tyhle teskont, ne každý na to má školu. To vinguju tady z patra. A tady jsou trošičku víc květnatý než v personě. svým projevem. Dělali jsme, co jsme mohli, ale Cassandra opravdu potřebuje dohled z nějaké zdravotní sestry. Říkám, nemám na to školu, vinguju to z patra. A najednou z účty je vše, co jenom vidíš. Koukala jsem na ty čísla celou noc. Slzy v očích, sem vezme tvoji ruku. To by prostě není možnost, jak si to dovolit, je mi to líto. Chceš opravdu kolaborovat a překládat za chodu, jo? Jo, tak jakože já nejsem proti, jestli chceš kolaborovat, pojď kolaborovat. Nemám problém s tvým kolaborantstvím. Tak samozřejmě, nejdřív se vykurýruj z korony, ale dneska jde jenom to kolabování, jo? Sem si stoupne a obejme tě. Na vše, na co jen můžeš myslet, je tvoje matka. A jak si nemůžeš dovolit jí pomoct. Co by si o tom myslel táta? Je tohle ta utopie, kterou Advanced slibovala? To nezní dobře. To je skonto, to nezní dobře. Zítra to budeš muset říct dětem. A pak zabukovat schůzku v Transition Centru. Co jiného můžeš dělat? OK, tak až se budeš nějak cítit, můžem něco vyzkoušet. Tím se, že stoupnout si do sprchy, ani nebudu muset otočit kohoutek. Den 199, nová cesta. Koukáš na televizi se Sam a Charliem. Koukáš se na televizi se Sam, když Charlie přijde večer domů. Škola před chvílí skončila, ale chodí domů později, čím dál tím častěji. Oba dva nad tím jenom pokrčíte rameny a dokoukáte epizodu Já, můj Dalmatín a já. Poté, co show skončí, řekneš sem dobrou noc. You've got an early start. Ráno vstáváte brzy. Když jdeš do ložnice, všimni si na Charlieho dveřích nového plakátu. Je po domácku vyrobený, ale obrázek je zcela jasný. Pěst, která je nakreslená oranžovou barvou na černém pozadí. Nyní již velmi dobře známý symbol Disruptu. Vypadá to, že ty jeho kamarádi jsou velmi zajímavá kopa. Docela malá reakce na to, že se tvůj syn připojil k antirežimním hnutí. Sem, Sem je dneska pryč s kolegy a Charlie zůstává u kamaráda. Dům je tvůj. Objednáš si dovážku. Tak já úplně nevím, jestli obecně jako teďka nadevším, jestli by se měli překládat jakoby jména, jakože i National Nightly News by se dalo přeložit do češtiny, ale když to jako ofiko název, tak nevím, jako jestli nenechat Advance a Disrupt. Rozvoj a rozruch je dobrý, ale nevím. Jako názvy bych asi nechal, když jsou to názvy, tak bych asi nechal Advance a Disrupt. Objednáš si dovážku, nalej si pár skleniček a relaxuješ před televizí. Není teda žádný moc dobrý výběr, ale aspoň ale určitě je tady něco, na co se dá podívat. Cítíš se jako, že by se chtěl zasmát. Komedie. Sam není doma, ale i tak se můžeš podívat na nějaký dobrý horor. Chci jenom vypnout, tak nějaký action thriller. Sem není úplně fanouškem historických dramatů. Takže využít toho, že... Kdyby to byly jen estetický, tak jo, ale ty názvy sebou nesou nějaký významový rys, který bys podle teorie překladu měl přenést do toho jazyka, do kterého to podáváš. Kterého to dá. Dobře. Vezmu radu odborníka a máme tedy rozvoj a rozruch. Na co se kouknem? Ale já využijem toho, že jsem není doma, dáme si historické drama. Jsem vůl. Džingis Khan. Džingis Khan nikdy nebyl něco, co by tě zajímalo, ale drama nebylo zas tak špatné. Dokonce si pochytili pár věcí, jakože jeho reálné jméno bylo Temujin. Kdo by to byl čekal? Když je po všem, přepínáš skrz kanály, abys našel něco jiného. Mně to potom taky došlo, jenom prostě, když jsem to četl úplně povrch, říkám, co to je za jméno, pak mi to docvaklo. Promačkáváš skrz kanály, abys našel něco, na co se koukat. Ale pohled pod obejvákový stoleček tě vyruší. Sáhneš pod stůl a vytáhneš jakési divné zařízení. What? Remembering Sam's note as you do? Já jsem ho měl vždycky jako Džingis Khan, jakože z Dž, ne z Č. Zase, more you know. Ahoj zlato, Charlie ztratil Suzin dárek. Pohlídal bys ho dneska v noci? Jo, ne. Podíval by ses po něm. Tady je to v tomhletom. Jak se na ně podíváš zblízka, tak zjistíš, že dárek je vlastně zapalovač s rytinou, s rytím, engraving, zase nevím přesně, pro čipyho. Ona tvrdí, že je to citově zabarvený nickname, ale Charlie je vždycky prská, když to zmíní. Nejsi si úplně jistý, jestli by se to sem líbilo. V doprovodném dopise Suzy vysvětluje. Irkistán má dlouhou tradici uctívání nebo glorifikování umění podpalovat. Myslela jsem, že by se ti to mohlo líbit. Neudělej žádnou blbost, Suz. Doufejme, že je to jenom suvenýr a ne nová pastime, ne nové hobby, kterého se chytnul. Koníček, volnočasová aktivita, ano. Nebo kterého se chopí. Ale je pěkný, že na něj myslí. Aha, nazdar Sale, díky za follow. Aha, vysílání. Tentokrát byla velmi kratoulinkách mezi vysílací pauze. Den 236. Mlčení. Nebo ticho.
Jenny? Problem? I want her fired today, now.
Don't worry, Kath, it'll be all right.
No, it won't be all right, Kath. Pack up your weapons of optical destruction and get out.
You realise you're beginning to sound like me?
I mean it, Kath.
Stay where you are, Kath. Jenny?
Aha, nikdo mi nevolá, OK.
Jeremy, all yours.
It'll be all right, I'll talk to both of you.
Oh, good. You can tell him I'll return his wife's casserole dish at our dinner next week. Jenny?
I'm sorry, Kath, you're gonna have to leave.
No, na těch emotech budu muset nějak zapracovat, no. Někdo se nabízí, kdo bude kreslit?
I thought you were part of a team these days.
Things are better, Jeremy, you know that. Just stop being so high and mighty and do your job.
You'll have me fired too.
3.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the supply of oil and gas, food, clothing, and even some medicines. But how should we react? We asked the public.
What are your reaction to the sanctions?
Well, I think it's fucking outrageous. My mom needs insulin. Am I supposed to get her transitioned? What's the government doing about it? Hey?
Thanks, Patrick. Important stuff.
Controversial Prime Minister Julia Salisbury attempted to assuage growing public concerns with the following official statement released earlier today.
The international sanctions declared against this country today by the World Council remind us that now, more than ever, we need to come together as a team.
Jo, já už jsem Holand psal, ale ještě nezareagovala. Říkala, že zkouškuje, ale už jsem zapomněl, dokdy zkouškuje. Takže čekám, jestli a jak se mi ozve. A co se tvého čumprlíka týče, Teskont, tak já ti potom chci ještě napsat, protože já mám jeden nápad ohledně čumprlíka. Ale to ti popíšu až na Discordu, až se nebudu muset soustředit na tuhletu zelenou linku.
We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side. Thank you.
Reassuring stuff. But what do you, the public,
jdeme cestou rozruchu, disruptu.
I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the government.
What?
That shower of iridescent pricks, punishing success and rewarding laziness, they're taking this country down the bloody swanny. And it's not just me that thinks so. My wife Iris, she agrees.
A Flard day's night. Following the release of the Flardmaster 5000, production of Flards are at an all-time high, requiring the new manufacturing facility in Grizzleford to move to 24-hour-a-day production.
With people finding more and more uses for the ever-versatile Flard, the team at Rivington Cyst certainly have their hands full keeping up with demand.
So, is there anything better than a handful of Flards? We asked Patrick to find out. Patrick?
Could I ask you for your opinion of Flards?
Of what, Pet?
Flards.
What are they?
You know, Flards, like well, Flards, you know, everyone knows what Flards are. Flards.
Don't know.
Oh.
Is it some sort of code?
Are you okay?
Pipers at the gates of dawn. Commuters in the capital this morning found themselves surprised and amused by the latest stunt from popular pressure group Disrupt.
Silent protests were held outside underground stations throughout the capital, bringing a pleasantly surreal quality to the morning commute.
Unless, like me, you have a phobia of mimes.
But how do we, as a country, really feel about Disrupt? Robin?
Samozřejmě vůbec nejsme jednostranní.
Showing us not to take it lying down like Iris here.
So you both feel they're a cause worth supporting?
Well, Iris doesn't speak online, but we're pretty sure there's still one in there, aren't we, love? Wherever it is, it loves Disrupt, fighting the oinks for our freedom. And what could possibly be wrong with that?
Do you need me to get you some help?
Intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and Dr. Ingrid
Svogsvold
today sent a blueprint of the escape craft in which they hope to finally leave Dante's taint.
With expert opinions of the plan running the gamut from optimistically engineered to that looks like something my granddad made in his shed, it sounds like the unfortunate team are going to need all the thoughts and prayers they can get.
So what should we think about the escape plan? Patrick Bannon again.
So I'd imagine that you think this is a great plan.
Oh my God! How did you know? It's a brilliant idea. I hope everyone gets behind them so that they know
To jsou odborníci jak na nově, ty vole.
I can't actually go diving because I'm scared of salt.
I'm not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team Membership Cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as legal identification by all major organisations, including the police, banks and, vitally, pubs and bars.
Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Team membership cards?
Absolutely bloody not. It's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable Regional Accent here can stick their truncheon up your derriere.
Oh, crikey!
They should call them what they are. They're bloody ID cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy out and on! I'm so sorry. Crikey.
And
Jo, takhle.
back of the net, popular sports personality Johnny Hansel.
No, tak musíme to zdravě to, nemůže to být ten negativní zprávy.
Started out today doing a little shopping for what many are already calling the greatest wedding ever.
We can only assume that Tiffany's
budeme zase
latest
šťastný.
show, My Teenage Secretions, has sold better than expected, as by the looks of things, the whole affair's about to become
Nebo
more
ne, budem
expensive
neutrální.
than Will C's shoe collection.
I don't know who that is.
But what should your opinion be of this extravagant display of wealth?
Don't really care, love.
Later tonight, in a break from our usual responsibilities, Jeremy will be taking popular rapper Jesus to task over his
Jesus.
credibility. And then we'll both be meeting the team behind the new play that's got theatre critics buzzing with anticipation.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
tonight, let's return to our main story.
With the shine coming off Advance's popularity,
And the honeymoon period pretty much over.
the national nightly news has spared no expense in bringing you the response to today's sanctions from across the continent.
Joining us to help
To je
digest
aby
the shocking development,
těžší, no.
our Prime Minister Peter Clement from his home in Lanfordshire.
Good evening, Jeremy.
And from Urkistan Foreign Minister Ivan Vodovich.
It's great pleasure. Miss Wolf, you like...
And from Svenland, Minister of Mojo, Björn.
Hey, everybody.
Minister Vodovich,
Bjorn.
your country pushed especially hard for these sanctions. Any regrets?
My only regret is I was not able to see the face of my old friend Peter Clements when the results of the vote were announced. As you say, he has one up in your bottoms.
In Svenland, we try not to gloat, actually, because it's seen as really ugly and dangerous to some small creatures, yeah?
Oh, don't worry, Minister. Ivan and I go way back. He's a wind-up merchant who can't put for shite.
Pete,
Just trying to get a rise out of me.
you're like a man who load dissidents onto train to labor camp, not because of love of country, but to make up for size of his tiny penis.
Been on the vodka, Ivan.
No more than you. I see you on election night with mouth like man thinks he's singing beautiful lullaby. But actually he's squealing like a pig in hands of Randy Big Dick Palmer, eh?
Actually, we Svenlandians, we aren't size obsessed. We value passion, yeah? Like the way we spoke up for Mr. Clement's country at the World Council.
That's all well and good.
Tak u nás se nemusí cenzurovat pasy, tak tady se nemusí cenzurovat.
Fingering each other's fjords.
Actually, that's kind of racist. And if you must know, I've had like a really tiring afternoon and my tongue is very taut.
Prime Minister, with Advance's popularity on the wane...
You don't have to bring that up at every given opportunity, you know.
Peter is like man who think he's sniffing flowers in beautiful glade. But he's actually standing under outflow pipe from shit factory at shit flushing time on day of village festival of shit. I tell him this at 19th hole.
Minister Vodovich believes that left to their own devices, people will behave selfishly.
It's nature of all beasts.
However, in this country, we think our citizens are capable of being more than beasts.
Pathetic idealism.
Minister Björk, Svenland has long had radically different traditions and culture from the rest of the world, and yet it peacefully coexists. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, I think maybe the world sees us as something they can actually spiritually be enlightened to, yeah?
Yeah, or maybe it's the orgy houses.
Sometimes, when foreign dignitaries come to visit us, they're actually quite skeptical, actually. So we take them on a visit to the Dunga district and show them what like a progressive enlightened society looks like, yeah?
Shit of bull. Svenland is like woman who thinks she make best cake in village hot baking contest. And then when she slice it open, it's just full of piss and cum.
Well, that's just really gross, actually.
Svenland is a teeny tiny country with population smaller than number of people Peter Clements is sex with his teeny tiny penis.
It's not all about size, actually.
Yes, that's what Peter Clements always claimed.
I'm talking about population size.
And I'm talking about Peter Clements' teeny tiny...
Oh, fuck off, Ivan!
Oh, Prime Minister, please.
It's so easy to sit on your pile of money and gloat, innit, pal? You're a shite leader, a fucking god-awful golfer, and quite frankly, as my old man used to say, you're a bit of a cunt.
Prime Minister, please.
It's you who is cunt.
Minister Vodovich, please.
Your people are fucking starving, pal.
We will see how well fed your people are when the sanctions start to bite. You think you're man like big scary wolf person terrorizing village, when actually a pathetic goose person searching puddle for tiny dropped off penis.
Why are you so obsessed about small cocks, mate?
In Svenland, we believe like the size of your penis isn't as important as love it contains, yeah?
Oh, fuck off, yeah.
Okay, if everybody could just calm down.
You're so smug on golf course. They are like man who fuck pig and somehow give her birth to beautiful lady girl. But now you start to see, yes? The people never happy. It's never enough.
It's certainly true that Advance's popularity
He's on the fucking wane. Yeah, let's go with this bollocks again. Shall we? Actually, you know what? Nah, fuck this. I'm done with this.
Prime Minister, please don't storm out.
No. I have had enough of you, Mr. Jeremy Donaldson and your snide aside. You think you could make a better job of things, do ya? Because it's not that fucking easy, let me tell ya. Your channel is a fucking disgrace. You insinuate and edit against us and pick your headlines so people don't trust us. The sooner you roaring monsters are taken into public ownership, the happier everyone in this country will be.
Well, we've not got long until the adverts, so...
I'm sorry for the outburst, Miss Wolf. Julia thinks very highly of you, and I know you're not the one making the editorial decisions.
Yes, I am.
Have anything you wish to add about the sanctions?
My work here is done. I like man who happy he lie down with fatty, drunk, easy girl from Village Inn, who discover in morning he wake up next to beautiful news reporter lady.
You know, I think it would be a terrible shame here if the people of your country were to suffer because of teenage grudges and personal rivalries, yeah.
Thank you. Prime Minister?
This country, this wonderful, civilized, creative, inventive country, we're not scared of these sanctions. There's no wolves at our door, only the best of people striving to help out. So no, Ivan, we're not afraid. In fact, I doubt we'll lose a wink of sleep because we're strong and we're well resourced and we don't back down to bullies.
And on that note, we have to wrap up.
Ministers, Prime Minister, thank you for joining us.
We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
Trochu vyhrocený.
It's so easy. So many buttons to push.
Piss off.
Will I see you at Grange this weekend?
No, I've got meetings. Some tossers impose sanctions on the country.
Shit.
I mean, wow.
So that happened? Roaring monsters.
Public ownership?
You two are like a couple who think you are king and queen of village when actually you are just puppets on the screen of evil city-hand puppet lady.
Government censorship should show up in blue. Same as regular censoring.
Governmental censorship. No, I don't think I will, actually.
Are you still meant to bow to foreign royalty?
What?
Should I just like curtsy?
Hang on. Have they given you the Crown Prince report?
What?
Meghan?
This is Jeremy, and he'll be interviewing you.
Oh.
Thanks for having me on your show,
man. It's quite alright.
Yeah, just a quick one. You're not going to ask me about the chimp, are you?
Live in 10 seconds.
So he put that get up on himself.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honour and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus!
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died tragically. Right there in my arms, man. You know, I mean,
Všechny reperské backstory v jednom.
In that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
Months old?
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just it's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as the de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Co hodil ty karty?
Fuck advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Nah. Why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah. I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheese Slice.
What are you trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of a
Or maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh no, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah, you love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel the elation from your participation. Still 2 leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams.
OK, tak tohle to je opravdu překlikávat do rytmu a do toho je ještě cenzurovat. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me, but I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive, but why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention, I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. Nechápu ten beat tam.
We're not all the same, all our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise, of the crest of the wave, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head, cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. It's time to stone a castle with a motherfucking pitchfork.
Ježíš, zapomněl vycenzurovat. Fuck.
So this is for the snub ones, the push and the shove ones, the folks that feel the burden of their motherfucking loved ones who had plenty like a motherfucking Bentley, the ones who now finding that their bank accounts are empty, the ones of aspiration who had to flee a nation, the ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise, of the crest of the ways, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red, red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to stall a puzzle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets. Set a fire in the building, let them feel some fucking heat. Say you hate to go getters, you're squealing bet letters. And burn them on the paras of advances fucking letters. Gonna take his facts, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's on.
Ty vole, tohle bude strašný.
Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team. And advances little dances on as harmless as it seems. Cause they're stale and corrupt, then your anger erupt. Then your hearts and your minds and your fists to destruct.
Jay's us there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Just a reminder. See that old VCR?
This is ridiculous.
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask
Oh,
you to
trust me.
leave.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand. This is unbelievable, Megan.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Jde? Tak zase tak špatný to nebylo, ne? No tak. Pojďme si na to větrák.
No, here we go.
Tak tady asi bonus nedostaneme.
Look at him.
If we could just get you in position.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
Megan, Jeremy,
Oh,
you
Jeff.
and Mr. Algebra.
Vividly.
And Mr. Harris, and this is Ms. Raiden.
What?
Philippa, please.
You're back together again, eh? Who'd have thought it?
Perhaps a lower-order demon.
Yes, it is awfully exciting, isn't it?
Right, okay then. We're going live in 10 seconds, opening on camera 1.
Try.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Raiden, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all.
National Deficit.
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a very good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, yeah, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference?
Moc dlouho.
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
After the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched,
I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah,
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris. Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells!
Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show, then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. This show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show.
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Yep. We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
You'll never take the sacred path!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, is actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale. Yeah.
Which, frankly, would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, and you do this every night?
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost and the dry cleaning my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Dillon.
And I'm Megan Wolf. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
That's the ads. Let's get reset for tomorrow, please.
Hey, we must stop bumping into each other like this, eh?
Oh.
What the fuck? Já tu hru miluju. Dčko, ty vole. Jak jsem mohl dostat Dčko? A hele. Not quite breaking even. Pořád, ale zvedá, pořád máme ale víc a víc peněz. Disrupt je oblíbenější, OK. Mission accomplished. The most attractive horse.
One of us, one of us.
Čau čau, děkuju za follow, díky za follow. Jsem na hajzli Hrapes? A sign of things to come. Nakupování. Aha, nazdar Lorenzo, čau čau. Nakupování. Něco, co vždycky bylo tak otravné před sankcemi, je ještě víc otravné teď. Povedlo se ti získat téměř všechno, co rodina na večer potřebuje. Ale budeš se zítra muset vrátit, abyste to zvládli skrz celý týden. Fronta na vyjetí z parkoviště je tu fronta na vyjetí z parkoviště, i když teď mě je těžký vyzjistit, co to je, nebo čím to je. Snad to, co to způsobuje, nebude na dlouho. Jak poslední auto před tebou odjede, tak zjistíš, že celá ta fronta vlastně byla kvůli kontrolnímu bodu, checkpointu, který byl zřízený na výjezdu. Kamarádsky vypadající muž jakže Tess říkala, že by bylo dobré to překládat? Rozvoj, jo. V rozvojové uniformě, nebo v uniformě rozvoje. CCO, všitá nášivka CCO. Jo, přesně, tak fronta na KKčko, ano. Je vyšita na spoustě místech. Přijde k tvému autu a zaklepe na okýnko. Stáhneš ho dolů. Dobrý večer, není se čeho obávat, jenom jsem si říkal, jestli bych mohl vidět vaši team membership kartu, prosím. Neměly být ty karty dobrovolný? Já jenom jak si předložila Advance, jako rozvoj, tak jsem jenom scrolloval v chatu. Přesně, nikdo neví, čím jsou ty fronty na KKčku, prostě neustále zvyšují sloty a čím víc slotů na připojení je, tím větší fronta je, takže... Pardon, ale já žádnou nemám. To není problém. Máme formuláře přímo tady. A budeme velmi rádi, když je s vámi bude moci vyřídit. Muž zamává na kolegu za ním. A mladá žena přijde na mladou ženu v podobné uniformě. Určitě si vytáhla kratší sirku, vzhledem k tomu, že ona musí dělat všechno papírování. Myslel jsem, že ty karty nejsou povinné. No, popravdě řečeno, nebo úplně řečeno nejsou. Ale je spousta benefitů z toho, když ji máte, tak není důvod si ji nepořídit. To je jak infomercial nebo teleshopping. Ano, je to k hovnu, ale proč to nemít? Jeho úsměv trošku povadne, když se rukou poškrábe zezadu na krku a nakloní se k tobě. Jeho přítomnost je nyní trošičku zastrašující. Ne, díky, není to něco, co zrovna teďka chci. Téměř okamžitě přátelský výraz zmizí a jeho výraz jeden stern disapproval. jeden z ne odmítání, ale nesouhlasu. Silného nesouhlasu. No, nemůžu despektu. To je slovo, které by mě v životě nenapadlo, kdyby to nenapsala Teskont, despekt. No, zcela očividně vás nemůžu vás nutit to podepsat, ale velmi silně vám to doporučuji. A to rychle. Přece nechceme, aby si někdo myslel, že něco schováváte, že? Dělá krok zpátky a naznačí ti rukou, abys odjel. Jak se pozná, kdo z nás je lingvista, no? Jsi každá opačná strana rodiny, no. Jsi si jistý, že ho vidíš ve zpětném zrcátku, jak něco někam píše. A vyrazíš domů trochu rychleji než obvykle. Zcela očividně rozvoj chce, aby se každý připojil do týmu. Den 290. An invitation worth ignoring. Pozvání hodné ignorace. Je sobota. Jeden z mála dnů volna, tak se rozhodneš, že toho využiješ naplno. Ale jak se táhne odpoledne, tak pozvánka, která je připevněná na lednici, na tebe kouká. Accusingly staring at you, nevím. Channel 1 Gala je povinný pracovní večírek. Bozeman byl taky velmi rychlý v tom, aby vám řekl a ani se nepokoušejte přijít pozdě. Asi není chytrý riskovat vyčítavě. To je taky dobrý slovo. Vyčítavě kouká. Asi není dobrý riskovat Bozemanův hněv. Měli bychom jít. Radši se začít připravovat. Jsi zvědav, jestli tě sám vyzvedne. Drink nebo dva by měli pomoct s vynuceným kancelářským socializováním. Doufejme, že to nebude tak špatný. Přeci jen jsi docela dobrý ve své práci, že? National News Night. Přijedeš včas, sotva. At the Sauvignon do Savignonu, jednoho z nejstarších a nejvíc grandiozních hotelů v celém hlavním městě. Jsi překvapen, když vidíš frontu na dostání se dovnitř. A rychle si uvědomíš, že je to z toho důvodu, že jsou lidi prohledávaný na vstupu nějakým velmi vojensky vypadajícím personálem v smart oblečení. Opulent the building is, possibly fanciest. Jak čekáš, tak si to je jako nás přesně gorily v oblecích. Zatímco čekáš, nemůžeš si pomoct a všimneš si, jak opulentně budova vypadá. Asi jedno z těch nejvíc pompézních míst, které si ve svém životě viděl. Podrobíš se tomu, že tě prohledají a s výdechem tě pustí dovnitř. Jakmile jsi uvnitř, tak jsi rozrušen velkou tančírnou. You marvel at a sheer skill. A jak následuješ cedule, si v úžasu nad jenom velikostí tohoto místa. A taky množstvím ozbrojených stráží. Když konečně dorazíš, jakmile dorazíš, tak velmi severe looking, jakož velmi severe looking, nevím, jakože já vím, ale nevím, jak to přeložit do češtiny. Vypadající žena u dveří se tě zeptá na tvé jméno. Jsem Alex Winston. Čekne svůj guest list předtím, než něco zašeptá číšníkovi vedle sebe. Zvládl jste to akorát včas, abyste byl ještě usazen před večeří. Prosím, následujte Emanuela k vašemu stolu. Číšník se na tebe usměje a otevře jedny z dvojitých dveří před tebou a ukazuje ti, aby si vstoupil. Hnedka poté je ti jasné, proč se tomu říká velká tančírna. Na chvilku se zastavíš, abys to všechno mohl vstřebat. Cítíš lehké zaklepání na rameno a Emanuel ti naznačí rukou, aby si šel za ním. Jsi usazen, usadí tě u stolu ve střední, někde ve středu, s docela dobrým výhledem na jeviště. Zcela očividně si na Bouzemanově dobré straně. Sedíš s několika kolegy, který si viděl kolem Channel One, ale zas tak dobře neznáš. Jeden z nich tě až příliš nadšeně obeznámí s tím, že je to velmi korporátní večer ocenění a proslovů. No, alespoň jídlo by mělo být dobrý. Večeře je opravdu dobrá. A s pomocí bez pochyby velmi drahého vína konverzace jde docela snadno. Dokonce si je ti dána cena pro nejlepšího nováčka na Channel One rodině. No, to bylo nečekaný. Jak jdeš, aby si ji přebral, tak poznáš ne reportéra, to je zase jiný slovíčko. Poraďte mi. Hledali ho i na Hocezebál a mě to slovo vypadlo. Komentátor. A to taky moderátor, ano. Moderátor, to je ono. Jako doktora Adriana Atkinsona Blimie? Z Insource Fame? Poděkoval Blamey? Nevím, jak se to vyslovuje. Blamey. Atkinson Blamey? Adrian Atkinson Blamey? Je to možný. Ty seš tady lingvista. Neptej se, já se mám ptát tebe, ne ty mě. Poděkuje rozvoji za sponzorování toho dnešního gala večera. Předtím, než specificky poděkuje ministryni Julie Salisbury a ministrovi Peteru Clementovi za jejich účast dneska. Britsky určitě Blamey. Tak tohle to je velmi britská hra, takže Blamey. Jak vylezeš na pódium, tak si všimneš, že opravdu, že u nejpřednějšího prostředního stolu opravdu sedí ministři. Stejně tak jako Boseman a Meghan. A další fancy lidi, který nepoznáváš. Blimey, tak dobře, Blimey. Tak to vysvětluje všechno to zabezpečení. Jak ti přidává cenu doktor Atkinson Blimey? Se tě zeptá, jestli by si chtěl říct pár slov. Uděláme vtípek, že poděkujeme Daveovi za to, že utekl ze země a nechal ti jeho práci. Jo, let's go all disrupt. Většina místnosti se ze slušnosti zasměje. Ale žádný z ministrů se ani nepousměje, natož se zasmát. A ani Boseman. Je příliš zaneprázdněný vysvětlováním situace Peterovi a Julie s tím, že občas po tobě hodí vražedný pohled. Nakonec se připojí do lehkého potlesku, jak tě Adrian zase vyhodí zpátky na své místo. To možná nebyl ten nejchytřejší move. Jak dokončíš večeři, tak jeden z lidí, co sedí s tebou, ukáže za tebe. Jak se otočíš, vidíš Bosemana, jak kolem rychle prochází s Juliou Salisbury a Petrem Clementem. Jsi si jistý, že tě cíleně ignoroval. Představuje ministry pár vybraným u jiného stolu. Radši oni než já. Dokončíš zbytek jídla, poslechneš si pár posledních proslovů a zamíříš domů. Po tom všem to nakonec byl docela hezký večer. Vypadá to, že se možná budeš těšit i na další. Pokud tě Boseman na další vůbec pozve. Vysíláníčko. Opět docela krátká pauza. The Heatwave, den 296. Proč mám pocit, že se mi bude něco přehřívat? Ještě pauznu, protože potřebuju se tady na něco podívat. Pingy všude okolo, ale nikde důležitě. Jako vážně, já budu muset chladit. O můj bože, to bude otravný. Must be played, okay. Crazy Neil.
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
So we've got any actual real news tonight?
Well, the world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team headquarters a short time ago,
Super stejný obrázky.
issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
The regrettable decision taken by the World Council this morning have left the citizens of this country isolated and fearful. But Advance have prepared for this day. Our stockpiles are large, our wealth is unfathomable, and we will defend our citizens with every last breath from this latest brutal and calculated act of war. We are with you, one team.
Ještě si hodím jeden shameless plug.
Taking the plunge? Far be it for us to be cynical, but it's beginning to seem like the wedding of a certain celebrity power couple is more about attention than it is about love. As this leaked photo shows, the naturals of heartthrob Johnny Handsleeves and art snob Tiffany Lamour were far from conventional when they finally tied the knot this week. In a ceremony that left very little to the imagination, the couple are insisting they hold with tradition. Well, as they say, something old, something new. In it to win it, exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take-up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Flawed-hearted, a shocking inspection of Remington Smith's new Flood factory
Mi nějak nedávají možnost jakoby jim to kazit.
the groundbreaking facility's future in doubt. After the public's lukewarm response to the industrial plant, the troubling report that found a possible long-term risk to shop floor workers could be the final nail in the coffin. CEO Sophia Remington, however, was optimistic that her employees would remain loyal. But perhaps she spoke too soon. As these photos clearly show, workers are taking the warnings very seriously, and some have even abandoned their posts to seek medical advice. It seems like my mother was wrong. A flood a day won't keep the doctor away. Leaders shipping out. The trapped scientists undertaking a bold escape from Dante's taint have revealed which of their two erstwhile leaders will spearhead their journey to freedom. While throughout their careers, it's been clear that doctors Wong and
Swartzwalkensword. Samozřejmě to musí udělat Swartzwalkensword.
Ingrid has always been the tempered coolant to David's flagellized metal. So it's no surprise that with the unexpected challenges the team have faced, they chose her methodical and effective approach to getting the team home safely. Critics, however, have speculated that her strategy may be delayed, as her name takes much longer to say. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. The reckless fire will certainly be remembered by all those who have seen these striking images. As their actions escalate, people across the country are asking themselves, who are Disrupt and what exactly do they want? Other than a new box of matches, of course. And I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Samozřejmě rozruch během porušení. Ježiš. Zrada.
But first tonight, Our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with Dr. Anna Burns at the University of Princeton. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am?
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating.
And you're part of a team carrying out a study into just what's causing this unbelievable heat, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from
Ne.
weather stations from all over the world, along with
Tak to
atmospheric
znie...
samples, and we take all
To
that
je
and
tam
feed
tak
it into
normálně.
this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Remington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary personal anecdote. Oh, here we go. And, as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on. This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is absolutely fine, so...
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah? We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
It says, shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go, much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running
out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
Enjoy that. I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will reclaim us all!
There you have it, Jeremy. Proof, if proof be need be, that everything is just fine. I'm Megan Wolf, here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolf there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that we had to do was fill in a quick form or two.
Wow, that sounds so convenient. But we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with Julia Salisbury at one of the capital's top restaurants.
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
Absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both polishing turds?
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh. How unexpected.
I don't polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato, potato. So, Gary...
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me keep the contents of his downpipe?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear about Gary's turd collection.
Really? I thought you might say that.
Oh.
Are you all right?
Yes. It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Right you are.
Today on the show there's no news, just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Here,
No.
this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous and really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance to win?
If it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at old Blue Eyes here.
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was unfair.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which has recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else. Barry Lardons, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster.
Arseminster.
But who's laughing now, eh?
Sorry, what? Not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built flour factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Does the stink not affect your life in every way, Barry? I mean, perhaps if you're filling in a tax return or completing the physical act of love.
It's strong at first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's the sickness?
Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms. Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main, but I think it's probably the few valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, you stinking old tramp?
A next recording is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
Oh, that's not really a problem, little song of my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon, and he's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous, why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch me if you want.
That will be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon, feel the Bannon.
And the ennui. All that's left now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nano Dotty? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
Oh, don't worry, folks. Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right, that's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
This next section features a potentially controversial guest. Advance may request some censorship if it goes too off-topic. You've done a great job so far keeping everyone happy, so let's keep up the good work.
Degrees in here, and I can't do this anymore.
You say this every Friday.
I've done something.
What do you mean? Jeremy?
My mic is still.
Yes, A+. Fuck yeah. Crazy Neil, yes. Ať do jeho stocks up, potřebuji penízky. Okay. You weren't there before.
That's what I'm talking about? Cat football? We should be doing an interview with the War Minister, or a report from Grantham Downs. Even the weather will
Ale já
fucking
ji tam
relevant
chci,
to this.
tohle zahodíme a dáme tam disruptáckou.
Exactly, which is wrong. People's minds should be very much on things. Christ, it's so fucking hot.
Please take your seats as quickly as you can.
I can't do this anymore, Jenny. I've had enough. That's it. This is just
10 seconds. Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. So I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological fourboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me, and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success have you had?
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt?
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No, I didn't say,
Well, we
that.
may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on!
This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin, a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once.
Enough! That's enough! Enough!
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex, cut.
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. Now, you in the broadcast centre, Bozeman's little scapegoat, you listen to me. You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio. I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat football? We are on the brink of a siege, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the gates, and I'm stuck here talking to these three fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
You three, get the fuck out of my studio. Go on, now, go, before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Right. You in the broadcast centre. Alex, you listen to me. You pay attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines, and when I say so, and not before, you play it. You've got about 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now, all cameras.
I assume you won't be playing that tape. This station does not negotiate with terrorists. I hope I've made myself clear. You seem to know what to do.
Every single thing
You
that comes
are
out
way
of this
ahead
studio
of way
is
ahead
either
of me,
one-sided,
přesně.
or by now, we're going to show the other side for a bit. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape. Now, I don't want to hurt any of you. If I see anything I don't like, I will not hesitate to start.
You're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope you made the right call.
Reset the system for the third segment. I imagine the ratings are going to be through the roof.
You've heard them talk about us on the news. We are Disrupt. We are the Resistance. It's time you knew the truth. You know Advance are lying to you. You know the elderly are not a burden. You know the rich were not all evil. And you know the team membership card is an ID card, no matter what they try to tell you. But why should you trust us? Another faceless organization. A shadowy figure with a distorted voice. You've seen it so many times in the movies. Well, this is not a movie.
Alan fucking
My name
James.
is Alan James. I used to try and shock people for a living, for entertainment. But now we live in a time where perhaps you need to be shocked. Perhaps we need to wake up. Advance are coming for our freedoms. They are coming for the fruits of our labours. They will take our wealth. They will euthanize our parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns. But you don't have to accept it. A great many people already won't. You can resist. You can disrupt. Find us. Talk with us. Join us.
So what now?
It isn't hard.
I don't know.
We're everywhere.
This wasn't what I planned. I mean, some of it was. I had a speech, look. But this was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long? How long, Jenny?
You're already live.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, for what I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is, what's your name?
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. It's not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
I don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
That's perfectly understandable. You'd want to do this. Jenny, why did you join the National Nightly News team?
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this program? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was?
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
There is a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
What do you mean?
I saw your face when that hood came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
Like I said, you didn't know.
No, I didn't know. The people I met were with. He wasn't there.
God,
I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry, but seriously, Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for. God, I love you, Jeremy, but.
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
That right?
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into oppression, and the news isn't saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Says who? Alan fucking James.
What are all those scientists working on at Grantham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these? Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you. You read these cards with my notes on it, and you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help,
Yes,
Andy?
yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch that.
Of course. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy. You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there. We're nearly done. All cameras on me. This new regime of ours is so seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone ask Advance how they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves. Hey, that's why I arranged for you to see that broadcast from the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ, it's also fucking pointless. I was going to quit tonight. Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never tried it. I loved the news. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry. I've lost this fight.
Alex, think of the consequences.
I've let you down.
Please, we can't show this. Cut to the ads.
My name's Jeremy
Now!
Donaldson.
Do it now!
If you can. Somehow. I envy you if you can. Have a peaceful night.
Jeremy!
This summer, your little ones deserve a treat. Ferris wheel. Carousel.
OK.
We've got none of that.
Nejlepší postava is gone. Nemluví o tom, že pokud si pamatujete lockdown vysílání, tak přesně tohleto mu tam předpověděla ta vědma. Pokud si pamatujete, tak ta vědkyně, tak mu tam ta vědkyně předpověděla, že ho vidí, jak vyhasíná jeho hvězda a jak se ho všichni jeho kolegové bojí. Ale dostal jsem bonus! A už we are technically not negative. Počkej, já to schválně najdu, jestli to najdu v Rashis. Lockdown. Lockdown live.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time coming. Exactly.
Sophia Remington.
Mary.
Ještě ne.
Of invention.
Někde ke konci, mám pocit.
So,
Did anyone else just get chills?
Tady.
We see you, Jeremy Donaldson.
not now, honey. I'm mid-pitch. The best thing about snuggle traps is their power.
We see you, Mr. Donaldson. You are screaming and yelling. Your friends are crying. They fear you. And then you're gone.
Oh my god, I just got chills.
Menší foreshadowing. A v druhé kapitole máme ještě jedno vysílání, pokud se nepletu a počítám dobře. Ještě třetí vysílání druhého chapteru. A Tape to Remember, den 297. Probudíš se, pořád trochu šokovaný z toho, co se včera ve zprávách stalo. z toho, co si musel editovat včera ve zprávách. Když přijdeš dolů, najdeš svoji rodinu sedící v obejváku. Čekají na tebe. Sedneš si na gauč vedle Sam. Sam polkne a nervózně začne. Vím, že to není správně překlad, ale co by. Tak strašně jsme se o tebe včera báli. Potom, co Jeremy s tou zbraní sem se zalkne a pofňukne. To bylo strašný. Na národní televizi. Jak to mohl udělat? A teď, po strašné pauze, jsem se konečně zeptá. Seš v pohodě? Nemůžu věřit, že je pryč. Nejlepší postava, Jeremy. Jsem se podívá na Charlieho a pak zpátky na tebe. Viděli jsme, že se rozhodl přehrát tu pásku. A potom načež na chvilku zastaví. A potom a já si nemůžu pomoct. Ale proč? Znělo to jako správná věc, co udělat. Já si myslím, že si udělal správnou věc. Jakože byla to šílená situace. Bylo správné rozhodnutí přehrát tu pásku, zašeptá Charlie, nebo Charlie řekne potichu. Nikdy jsi neuvědomil, jak moc pro tebe znamená jeho podpora. Je dobré mít na své straně svého syna. Mít syna na své straně. Myslím si, Alexi, že to byla nemožná situace a že jsi se rozhodl správně. Sem tě obejmem. Jenom ty jsi byl v tom studiu a jenom ty si mohl udělat nějakou volbu. Nikdo tě za ní nemůže kritizovat. Jsem na tebe hrdá. Nikdy jsi nebyl tolik vděčný za to, že tě sem podporuje. Zhluboka se nadechneš a zamyslíš se nad tím. Je to hodně, co všechno pobrat. Ani si nejsi jistý, jestli si úplně pobral to, co se vlastně včera v noci stalo. A navíc k tomu ještě, co si o tom myslí Charlie a Sam. Chabě se usměješ na svoji rodinu, jsi unavený. Ani si nevěděl, jak moc tě to tížilo. Ale Charlie udělá hloupej vtípek a všichni se zasmějou. Ta strašná atmosféra se láme. Sem tě podrbe na zádech a řekne mu, ať zapne televizi. Nemohl jsi spřát nic lepšího. Den 305 a rebel je zrozen. Tlumená rána tě vzbudí tebe a Sam prostřed noci. A chvíli to trvá, než si uvědomíš, že to přišlo z kuchyně. Opatrně sejdeš dolů a vezmeš deštník z vedle dveří. spíš na uklidnění, než jako skutečnou zbraň. Pomalu otevřeš dveře od kuchyně. Zvedneš deštník tak na půli cesty nad hlavu, než si uvědomíš, že je to Charlie, který se tam motá ve tmě. Jedna z kuchyňských židlí je převrácená a je až po lokty v krabici s cereáliema. Když se podívá, uvidí tě stát ve dveřích. Tvoje starost se promění v mix kuriozity a naštvání. Co sakra děláš? Plížit se tady v tuhle hodinu. Tvůj syn jenom zamumlá něco o tom, že byl venku s kamarády a že měli pár piv. Jak se houpe na nohách, tak cítíš silný zápach alkoholu. Z čehož poznáváš, že měl asi trochu víc než pár. Myslíš si, že je to dobrý nápad plýtvat sobotou tím, že se vožíráš s těma svýma kamarádama? Jenom vydechne a podívá se na zem. Odpověz, mladý muži. Podívej se, buď to řekneš mě, nebo vezmu mámu a všichni tři si o tom popovídáme. Začne odmlouvat de facto. Neplejtvali jsme nocí. Co děláme je důležitý. Pomáháme rozruchu udělat změnu. Praští s cereáliema o stůl. Což mělo být asi nějaké grand gesto. Ale zvuk cukrovaných vloček podkopává tento efekt. Je ti 15, běž spát, Charlie. Vyspi se z toho. Charlie se uchechne a zavrtí hlavou. Odejde beze slova. To není ta reakce, kterou si čekal. Vzpomínáš si, když jste spolu chodili do parku a ty jsi ho rozhoupával na houpačce. Teď se tam chodí združovat, nevím nazvat. Bože, seš starý. Doufejme, že nezbudí sem po jeho cestě, když půjde do pokoje. Pro jeho vlastní dobro. Den 365. A holiday updates. Jak dojídáš snídaní, sem přijde s poštou. Dostali jsme pohled od Suzy. Doufám, že si užívá svůj výlet. Sem čte nahlas, jak se připravuješ do práce. Takže už jsem viděla tolik věcí, že to vypadá jako celý Irkistán. Vážně super místo, ale je tu zima. Doufám, že si Chippy užívá dárku. A předtím, než cokoliv řeknete, ano, měli jste pravdu, měla jsem si zabalit pár ponožek navíc. Sem tě lehce kopne pod stolem. teď jako další mám vlak do Konislavy. Mnohem tepleji, spoustu pláží na užívání. Mohla bych tam zůstat navždy. Ale musíme zamířit do San Palmarino, než se ochladí. A já jsem tak rád, že jsme to tak udělali. Máme asi ještě 1 nebo 2 zastávky předtím, než jedeme domů. Ale budu doma na Vánoce, slibuju. Doufám, že se všem daří s láskou Suzy. Zní to jako, že to byl fakt super vejlet. Za všechny prachy, doslova, prodával jsem ledvinu. Vysílání.
While they try and fashion a nutritious meal out of a
Okay.
condensed milk, a cow's tongue, and some rhubarb. Not one to
So, Julia's team have asked me to ask you to keep it light.
What
does that mean? It means to do that thing you do where you turn politicians into humans. Just don't get drawn into talking about the war or politics in general.
They do know this is the news, don't they?
You didn't hear this from me,
It's
but
over to Patrick Bannon for all the day's sports board highlights, including all the tabletop action.
apparently there's a crew at Team HQ right now. I think she's giving a speech or something tonight. They'll get it on the late news.
Oh, great. So they get the brains and we get the performing monkey.
Sometimes you sound just like him, you know.
Which tells the cautionary tale
How
of
are you?
one brave young lady's battles to survive the cruel administrations of our neighbours.
It
At
is what it is.
11:25, it's in sizes.
It
And
is what it
tonight, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey
I'm
will be
missing
getting
two,
his
you know.
teeth into Fiona from Hamble Bamblebury, who is
10 seconds, everybody.
on the humble biscuit. And that takes us after the weather and public information
Going in
film
5,
into our close down.
4,
But first
3.
it's time to join Megan and the team for the National Night. Good evening. This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight. Company of heroes. Skirmishes on land and sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come. Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise.
Se divím, že nás ještě nezakázali.
Advance's food program moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it
Teď
to be
začíná
opened
být
up to
hodně
the wider
orwellianský.
community. With dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain, it can come as no surprise that the transition centres have found themselves stretched to capacity. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a team membership card, a worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. While applications are still open for those who like to run fashionably late, they can expect a few tricky questions from Advance. Street Fighting Man. Spokesman Alan James today announced that Disrupt were responsible for the 2 explosions which rocked the capital's warehouse district last night. Julia Salisbury condemned the attack on what she described as vital medical supplies, pointless and barbaric. Mr. James commented, "Disrupt are strong and our numbers are growing. Advance fear us, and they should, because we're holding the line for freedom." And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. Disrupt spokesman Alan James, whose organisation last week named Mr Donaldson as the cause's first martyr, described the graffiti as a fitting tribute to a hero of the resistance.
A je rok
But first
85.
this evening, with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive interview from his home in Lancashire. That's coming up on tonight's National Nightly News. I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later we've got a new feature
Lil
that's sure
C.
to keep you coming back for more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lancashire. Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Oh, have we started? Yes, that's right, Miss Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old mum used to say, just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle? What's wrong? Oh, shitter. It's shitter, isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this new year?
Well, you know, Mrs. C and I were watching, you know, the night the blockade began, when Jeremy Donaldson, well, you know, and it was blistering hot, as I'm sure you all remember, and I were a bit wheezy from all the cigars and all that, and Mrs. C turns to me after the signal dropped away, and she was in floods of tears, and she says, Peter, she said, I couldn't go on without you, she said. So I made a decision. And since that day, I have stopped smoking cigars. Except for Christmas. My birthday. Weddings. State dinners. That's what I say. I got this useless Rudy backwards doesn't go anywhere. And apparently I'm going on a walking holiday this Christmas, and that should finish me off for bloody good.
Did you make the decision to holiday within the country this winter because of the blockade, Prime Minister?
Well, Mrs. C has never liked travelling at the best of times. These are certainly not the best of times, on that we can all agree. There's a lot of red tape involved in leaving the territories at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware. Some of those farmers are bastard long.
All in it together.
What? All in it together! Oh, yeah. Also, it doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really an example of team spirit?
What? Did you know about this, Gail?
No one tells me anything, Peter. You should know that. Why don't you know?
Well, leaving that for a moment, it says on this card that a body like yours must take some planning to achieve. What's your morning routine?
Well, I have a frigid morning routine.
Rigid. It's rigid, for fuck's sake!
Oh, yeah. A rigid and demanding plan that my doctor and personal trainer...
Who's your personal trainer?
Some prick called Clark. Is that on your card?
I thought you might wonder. Prime Minister, speaking of planning, with the blockade in its 20th week and the people of this country reeling from its effects, what plans do you have to get us out of this mess?
Well, that's a very blunt question, Miss
Surely one for which you, the democratically elected Prime Minister, must have an answer.
Don't you get smart with me, Pat. I was a fucking national treasure before you were a twinkle in the milkman's scrotum. You want to talk about plans? Let me tell you about plans. That's all we do. Fucking plans and revised plans and then meetings to discuss the implementation of plans and plans and yet more planning for fucking plans and yet more fucking plans.
Well, that's good. That's good to know, Prime
Do you
Minister.
know, I used to really like you, Pat. You were a breath of fresh air. But I've been watching you, and you know what? You get more like him every day.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes. Well, I imagine that there will be
you
the
imagine?
usual. No, what I mean is.
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old mum used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards. What else? A little piece of my life. Do you want to rustle through? Get out. Refill my last. Come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no fucking idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for...
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, that does make more sense, actually.
How's rationing affecting you?
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt. I want for nothing.
Except for a decent night's sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the Culture Spot with Lil C and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back, everybody.
Opět nalitý.
That is what happens when you wander from the car.
I don't think he knew about her statement.
I don't think anyone's supposed to know. When you mentioned it, Bozeman's face turned a colour that I think you call embolism.
I'm in trouble.
Bozeman? Nah, you're like the torture he never had. I suppose the higher ups might fire him though.
Who's Lil C?
Or if there's any justice, me.
Who's Lil C?
Are you winding me up?
What? I'm civilized. I read books.
Bčko, ale no tak. Bčko bylo fajné. Jinak, když máme ještě 20 vteřin do začátku vysílání, samozřejmě první chapter Not for Broadcast už je na YouTube kanálu, záznam už je tam veřejně. Stejně tak, jako že tam bude potom za 24 hodin od vysílání tenhle záznam. Takže pokud jste cokoliv zmeškali, můžete se podívat na záznam buď tady, nebo na YouTube.
But kids go mad for her, absolutely mad.
Live in 10 seconds.
Hang on, Colin, you've got kids.
Yeah, I've got about 6 or 7, I think.
What?
I got 6 or 7, I think.
4, 3.
Thanks for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C! Wow. May I just say, you look
incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
What's the regime?
And my manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water and then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Oh, well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together, it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been
Billy
estranged.
Bob Jean Short.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
So, this newfound explosion to your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So, what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Your manager again.
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh. Do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh, well, yeah. We're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Yeah, it's from my album Put It In My A Together and it's out tomorrow.
So soon, after the last one?
Oh yeah, I've actually released 2 albums since lunchtime and a clothing line during this interview. See, this is called Cry for Help and it's going to be in all the best high street and retailer shops and it's out now. So girlies, you know what to do. Scream and cry until somebody gets it for you.
Ooh, there she goes. Blimey. All these projects, they're keeping you very busy, aren't they? It must be tough.
Yeah, it can get tough and I hate it sometimes and I hate myself. I just want to like cry into a bath of root veg. But then I think thousands of girls would do anything to be me, so I must be quite lucky.
Well, you know you don't have to do this though, don't you?
Yeah, I do think that sometimes. Most nights between like my 4th vodka and the 8th time a stranger slaps me around the arse. I think things could have been different, you know, like better. But I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit in front of the radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I'd press record on my cassette. But then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practicing again.
Sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler proud and you might just survive childbirth."
Well, fuck. You know, despite anything, you'll make me proud.
Oh, if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you? Tell me about it.
So it's called These Babies Gonna Bring You Home, and I actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what? It's actually all right. And don't worry, all my work is team approved.
All right then. Well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here's Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track, These Babies Gonna Bring You Home. Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Force's favorite, the Queen of Teams, here to break in your blockades, Lil C.
Oh baby, can't you see I'm hungry? There's a place in me that's empty. I want that meat you're packing, only you can fill that crack in me. come and free me. Ain't no disruption here, boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me, no dirty foreign member. Don't stop no morning drill, there's holes in me that ain't been filled yet. I only scream this loud when you do your country proud. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So let them try and break our dream. We fight and love and die a team. So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy? I wanna see some action.
What
So
the
come and
fuck?
break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since Mama burdened me. She was only 53 but gave to save her family. There's no one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and dump them there? I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions.
The fuck?
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to
Celá hra by měla být TOS friendly.
doing that. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll
Takže-
finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're gonna love. We'll be back right after this. And we're out.
Jsem ale zapomněl na reklamu.
Can I just say, thank you so much for letting me do this. It really means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to promote myself on such a mainstream platform like the news.
Well, don't worry about it. And you know what? Good luck for the future. Take care of yourself. This industry can be crazy sometimes. Watch out for that father of yours, won't you?
Oh, no, I manage myself. It's just, you know, for the public to have that certain perspective on me. You know what it's like.
Oh, right.
And Michael? Michael?
What about Billy Bob Jeanshaw? Is he?
Oh, my dad. He's such a sweetheart. We both had the same agents, you know, like it just made sense. Both of us for our image together. And Michael, I want to see the revenue share for the clothing line and get me a G&T before my meeting with the lube guys. If they say for your pleasure, I'm going to start needing it.
Oh shit.
This next section will need you to use all 4 of the sound effects to help things along. Try and pick the most appropriate one at each given moment. The actors can't hear what you're doing, so they'll be trusting you to make the right choices.
A red wine, where you can hardly taste the chemicals.
Ne, tohle to by nemělo být. Tohle to by mělo být TOS friendly.
We're exactly 12 as it said in your rider.
Do I look like the sort of person who counts things? No, 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 not anymore. I'm better than that now. I'll tell you what, just keep adding flowers until it feels like 12. Got it?
Absolutely, right away. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Když Agrelus mohl streamovat Nekoparu, tak já si myslím, že tohle je v pohodě.
We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now
The wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show, we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The Notice Board. It stars some top talent and we're very excited about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Actually, I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff the Plume now. How'd you like that?
Yeah, very fancy. I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly. I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh. And how does Angela feel about all this? Your wife. Your wife.
Oh, God, no. No, she's long gone. No, she was holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
And why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call offering me 25 grand to write a pro-team sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy. You make hay while the sun shines. You wring every penny you can get out of this. So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking. Utter shite.
And without further ado,
Shit.
let's give it up for the notice board.
You had it last time. Don't stop now.
Good morning, Miss Craven.
Oh, morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Oh, Ray, it's those young louts. They've vandalised my shop again.
No!
Yes! They've written all sorts of obscene language and crude pictures, and I know it's those damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society like this key into this lock. See? Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And just like that, we can unlock their future.
Yes, yes. Wow! Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
What? This one? Oh, so you're right. Here it is.
It's a letter from my granddaughter, Brenda. She says she got an A on her maths exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
What's up, losers? What's up, losers?
Oh, no. It's Brad. He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right. I just got here on my motorbike.
Oh, clear off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No, ruffians. Have you come to tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way. I've actually come to pin my resume on that notice board. I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What? Did you say tutoring?
That's right. Maths is very important. Would you mind, Ray? Would you mind, Ray?
Not at all.
So you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for months.
Well, blow me down!
You know what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No doy.
So it wasn't you who vandalised my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray. Oh, what the heck? Give us a hug.
Nás vypli.
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of the notice board, but we are receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we are picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major foreign cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into they put them into millions. I'm being told we're experiencing some power shortages as a result, so apologies for the interruption. And apparently we can go live now to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julia Salisbury any moment. Yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent. We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres and will not hesitate to detonate them.
We are hearing stories of power fluctuations and what could be minor earthquakes throughout the continent. Stand by. We've lost contact with our benefactors in Urkistan and Konoslava. While our equipment seems to be resetting, can we get this confirmed? Can we get this verified? I need this verified. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you are receiving this, but if you are, then you have to know. You have to know what's being done right now to our neighbours. This is unprecedented. Our government has committed multiple acts of mass destruction in our name. Nor do I care how you voted. You didn't vote for this. None of us did. This can't be. We are awaiting further news and, oh, God. What if they respond?
We will expect your complete acceptance of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you.
I don't really talk about my personal life in my job. It's not relevant or important. So many of you may be surprised to learn that I have a brother. His name is David. And right now I can't get his stupid face out of my head. He's a researcher and he's currently traveling the continent for work. And I don't.
Shit, naše dcera taky.
know where he is right now. And I should imagine that there are many of you sitting at home tonight digesting this news, and you also have loved ones on the continent. In Urkistan, or Havia, or San Palmerino, or Konislava, which is where David was when I last spoke to him 3 days ago. So when I tell you I know how you are feeling tonight, believe me, I do. But I also know that there's a flow to events. I see it every day here. I know that although tonight it feels like we may be in a time of fear and darkness, we may actually be at the break of a new dawn. We don't know that yet. We can't know that yet, but together we will find out. And I will be here every night, feeling what you are feeling. And with your help, maybe we can all get to that brave new world. My name's Megan Wolf. Let's make tomorrow better.
And we're out. We've got people ringing round, but the telephone networks are overloaded. Okay. We'll find him.
Do we know exactly which cities were hit, or?
Megan. We will find him.
A tohleto je konec druhé části Not for Broadcast. Já koukám na hodiny, tak já za chvilku budu muset jít. Takže to dneska skončíme. Tady doklikáme, zjistíme, jestli jsme o něco bohatší. Nebo jsme pořád o něco bohatší. Už jsme ve zvládnutelném dluhu. Tak aspoň, že nejsme chudí, když už jsme teda ve válce, aspoň. Advanced pořád, nebo rozvoj jde dolů, rozruch jde nahoru. Tady jsou i disrupt hacky přímo. Se potom dá kouknout přímo na zprávy. Ale to bude tedy pro tuhle chvíli všechno. Já ještě uvidím, teď mám nějakou schůzku, tak poté uvidím, v kolik skončíme a případně bych ještě po tom, co skončíme, zapnul stream. Nevím, jestli přímo Not for Broadcast, ale možná jo, možná ne. Možná zapnu ještě personu, pokud zprovozním ovladač, který mi začal blbnout. Ale to je když tak, to je otázka na budoucího mě. Takže já vás zatím, někdo z lidí, co sledují, streamuje? Streamuje. Mám napsáno správně. Já vás pošlu za Atrem. Jsem rád, že jste tady byli. Záznam bude zase za 24 hodin na YouTube a zatím čau.